And continuing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The second part of who knows how many long series of games remaking Final Fantasy VII. And I would think that yes, I understand the practical reason why Squaresoft decided to make, or Square Enix nowadays, decided to remake Final Fantasy VII. It was the first 3D Final Fantasy. It was the first completely international release, which means to say it was not just translated to English and released in America. It was released in Europe as well, with big hype. I remember it personally. I am that old, and with huge hype and publicity. Yeah, this game was, when it came out, it was hyped a lot because European audiences knew Final Fantasies through imported versions of 1, 4, and 6. And then when there was the 7 would be appear, there was a bit questioning about would it be Final Fantasy 4 in Europe, in America, would it be Final Fantasy in Europe? And they decided that hell no, it's gonna be 7. And that's why I prefer referring to always in the original numberings. And it was a huge success internationally, which led to, of course, re-releases and new ports of earlier Final Fantasy games, which I actually do have. But now I got to the swamp.
He's here, isn't he? I don't know.
Well, monsters sure are. No doubt.
Monsters we can handle. We've dealt with worse.
That's easy for you to say. You fought the worst for a living. Not us, though.
Yeah, good point. You mind taking the lead, Merc?
For 2,000.
Enough for her standard course. Twice, right? Her what now? Ask him. Cloud?
Forget it. You guys need to focus.
Wasn't all that long ago that this place was a working mythril mine. Y'all know about mythril, right?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put the under so.
Not anything specific, no.
It's pretty tough. And beautiful besides.
Right on both counts. But what you might not realize is just how rare it is. Never been found outside of these caves, in fact. And I ought to know. Worked in a mine myself back in the day. Hard not to learn about the life when you live in it.
Should we pick up a few souvenirs then?
We could, but probably not worth it. Shinra's been churning out stuff made with more durable alloys for years now. Even got that signature mithril sheen and everything.
Probably refined with materia too.
Look at you, Mr. Shinra expert.
No, and it's got the familiar music, but it's recomposed and reorchestrated. But I would guess that when there's the presence of materia, it would allow to make some ludicrously tough and light, durable alloys, like Sephiroth's original sword. That sword is just so long, and the way he swings about should mean that it should have been bent out of shape and gotten dull. Practically with the first swing it would lose its form, no matter how good steel it would be. But with materia, you could explain that, yeah, it's alloyed with materia, it's got magic in it, it can endure such abuse. Well, but there's a shopping start. All kinds of handy stuff, materials. There's this upgrade level and all that. And a bench, meaning resting spot. Which of course means I'm gonna make a save as well. And of course, knowing that the Barrett is aware of mining is not out of character, because he's a coal miner from Corel, and most likely his anger towards Shinra, at least first, is, well, I don't know how they made it in remake or in these remake series, you could say. But he was first worried about losing his livelihood because of the Mako energies, but then Shinra decided to show that they're actually really unmoderated capitalism. That let's just cause destruction rather than pay up people. So this place, of course, has also gotten through a lot of expansion. It was just basically a few rooms in the original one and some treasures. Now it's way bigger. But the same sense of awe and wondering is present, and the Men in Black Cape didn't appear, at least actually they had appeared in Midgar, but not as this kind of group. I wonder if they used the same model to all of those. And he didn't even notice.
Hope they're okay.
He might be. I would say not.
Nothing we can do.
Right.
That would be cold, but very true. But I still...
We shouldn't just leave him. Know what? I'll go check.
Okay, I'll come too.
Nah, you stay. I know what I'm doing down here. You don't. Last thing we need is you getting hurt on us.
I'll accompany him. I'm no stranger to caves.
Okay, if you're sure. Sorry to... I mean... Thank you.
Oh yeah, and it really looks like that the Squaresoft
Keep track of the other roads now, yeah?
did some adjustment on Tifa's eye color, and it is not as red as it used to be.
Careful down there!
So I have to do some... let's just let it be. Oh yeah, that's the very much that kind of zombie moan. But why would they be explicitly wearing black capes? And interestingly enough, once you do in side quests, the innkeeper of Calm, Broden, mentions that he used to be a member of Soldier, and he has voices, has an urge to move, serious side effects of being made into Soldier. So, which is interesting because quite often in fiction, when there's a case of super soldiers, and soldiers are explicitly made super soldiers, there's lots of mention about possible side or known side effects, and usually in a case of that, if there are bad guys, they tend to go something like a craziness and all kinds of unpleasant side effects about in the crawlers, they appeared, and the original one they had a
So it's my turn? No, see, why don't you leave? Okay, let's go. What the? You're up.
Let's take the lead.
Here goes.
Never in doubt.
yeah, that was some sort of pest. And I would just expect that because when there's Mako energy, it would have some kind of effect on animals and humans. Well, it's known to have effect on humans, but it might also have an effect on animals, meaning creates monsters. And a similar effect of that kind of natural resource important to the story having effect on wildlife is in Borderlands games. Or better say in Borderlands it's the presence of the wolves, which and then the iridium slag effect that almost like it's just vaults themselves which have effect on wildlife of Pandora, making it very hostile and of course capable of occasionally spitting fire or acids or generating massive shocks. That would be quite dangerous planet to go. But I would expect that the worlds in multitude of multiverse of Final Fantasy worlds would be well, they would be about as dangerous as they were because hey, cities are basically made into fortresses. Not because of any military need, because they usually may not be that many powerful states, just maybe few. But those are just little pests. They go down even less effort than they went down in the original. Oh, that's a big one. Let's pick a fight with it. Hello, ogre. Focus thrust.
I'm coming. It's your turn. This one's for you.
Dive kick.
I'm all warmed up.
Yeah, it was big, but it wasn't that you could say it's dangerous enemy. And a bit of run dash. And it's real interesting to notice that despite China being shown very irresponsible and basically ineptly managed company, and basically also extremely corrupt, it's still interesting to notice that Barrett does have noticed that yeah, they do well only even moderately sympathetic character in about Shinra appearing in this game.
I'll show you what I can do. Get ready. Get him.
Yeah, they are a pest. And you got staggered, and now you go died. Nothing you could say really unusual in here. Just quite regular things you might expect from this kind of little interlude moment after a massive boss fight, and this most likely transfers me to a completely new big area, like from grasslands. And I can't push it away, but I can pull it away. And it looks like after when the operation was here ended, when the mythril became unnecessary alloy for alloy use, they just left all the equipment here. I don't think that's common practice in mining, unless it's something really serious situation happens and everything just has to be left.
This place is huge. What's that?
Hopefully, our ticket out of here.
Let's see.
Yeah, and I do notice that the at least common fashion in the Final Fantasy VII, I don't know what makes it so, is the presence of short jackets. Aerith's jacket is very short, while Tifa's wearing a tank top, not a jacket. Whatever somebody might say, Tifa's got more feminine shapes than Aerith does. And I still oh, that's a little graphical little trick of standing around with being a bit hitboxes of ground being a bit different, meaning making Aerith float in the air. But Aerith's boots are very sturdy tanker boots. Tanker boots means that something like a basically quite common so-called invasion boots or military boots with big lacings. I think that's the difference between jack boot and the military boot.
Nothing to it.
In Finnish, that kind of boot is called myhai, as a shortened form of basically invading boot or beaching boot. And regular boot is just called sabas, meaning just not specifically jack boot, just yeah. Well, there's stuff behind there. Simple item moving puzzle. Nothing really complex in this kind of thing. After intense boss fights and drama actions, it makes sense to have this kind of much more sedate and calm moment. Yep, it's busted. Yep. They didn't make any extra animation about groove climbing up, which doesn't really bother. And it's quite common in games, well, not all games, to do like this. Well, original God of War was a great example about how that kind of thing was done. They had basically long corridors to mask loading times to new locations, and then they hit those, those long corridors, elevator rides and whatever. They were there to mask loading times to moving into new areas. And then once they the long corridors were basically a way to disguise loading times, make it appear seamless. Metroid Prime originally used similar thing, that when you shut at the door, it actually loaded the next room to the game's memory, allowing you to enter it. And because, well, there was an explanation. Door is opening. That was the made gameplay experience itself feel quite seamless. And I think that kind of things are very important in the game design. That you hope to make the game feel seamless. And of course, then there's a matter of all these fast travel systems, and they usually obviously lead to the loading times because, well, they are fast travel systems. They are gameplay convenience. You are allowed to have that kind of breakage in it. And original Resident Evil had the door opening animations in it. Original Silent Hill didn't have that. Oh, a couple of ogres here. Let's see. Hello there, brave bastard critters.
Get ready. That'll do. That's it. Okay.
I'm not here, I am there. But there's this one thing about this remake's gameplay design, and it's the fact that Aerith always uses magic. She's the long distance fighter, even though in the original one she just went directly and punched things with her staff. And that kind of breaks the character. Or I would not call it breaks the character, but makes her quite different. Tifa being a close range fighter, there's nothing unusual about that. Come on, hit me. Oh, it had a... Dagger and goes down. Nothing really you could say unseen in here. And that nice greenish glow, I don't think it might either be the light or greenish glow or greenish color in rocks usually implies towards copper ores. Bluish, greenish colors in rock, copper. I'm not an expert of geology.
Did we lose him?
Still got time to catch up.
If any of them are still alive.
Yeah, the place is just buy all the stuff in the just resting here as well. And this place is also big. They made it real big place. In the original one it might have taken something like a 5 minutes, maybe even less, judging by how well you would have gone through this. But I'm gonna end this episode right here. Gone through lots of mythril mine. See you next time. See ya.